I never thought I'd feel this small standing in her kitchen, staring at her like a stranger. "Guess what?" she said, her eyes sparkling. "I got the job," smiled, trying not to let my heart race. "That's amazing, really." "Who's the employer?" She paused, twisting her coffee mug between her hands. "A billionaire. Ethan Blackwood. You've heard of him, right?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I've read about him. Big company, big reputation." She grinned. "I start next week. Can you believe it?" Wow, I said. My words felt small. "I'm proud of you." She laughed lightly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "You don't sound thrilled." "I am," I insisted. "I just didn't expect it so fast. You always dreamed big." She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "And now I'm touching the sky, you'll see." I forced a chuckle. "I guess I'm still on the ground then." Her smile faded for a moment. "Don't say that. You've got your own strengths." I wanted to believe her, but a tiny voice in my head whispered, "What if this changes everything?" The first week passed like a blur. She came home later than usual, talking about meetings and dinners and people I couldn't even pronounce. "You'll never guess what happened today," she said one night, slipping off her heels. "Ethan introduced me to his board members. Everyone knows my name now." "That's impressive," I said, staring at the floor. "Sounds intense." She laughed, brushing her shoulder against mine. "It's not just intense, it's exhilarating." "I love it." I forced a smile. "I'm happy for you." "You seem distant," she said, frowning slightly. "Did I do something wrong?" No, I said quickly. "Just tired, I guess. Work's been long too." She didn't look convinced, but she let it go. I couldn't tell her I felt like I was losing her to a world I couldn't reach. Then came the invitation. A high-end party at Ethan Blackwood's mansion. She handed me the envelope with a mix of excitement and pride. "You'll come, right?" she asked. I guess so," I said. My stomach twisted. "I don't exactly fit in there." "You'll fit perfectly. Just come with me." Didn't want to go. I wanted to stay in my safe, small apartment, away from the glittering world she now inhabited. But I said yes. The mansion was enormous. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, people laughing in designer clothes. I felt my jacket sag with the weight of inadequacy. "This is incredible," I muttered, trying to sound casual. She squeezed my hand. "You're fine. Relax. Just follow my lead." I nodded, swallowing. She walked ahead confidently, chatting with everyone like she belonged, and then I saw him. Ethan Blackwood. "Ah, you must be her boyfriend," he said, his voice smooth, calculating. "Welcome." I shook his hand, feeling the strength behind it. "Thanks, it's nice to meet you." He smiled, a little too sharp. "She speaks very highly of you." I smiled back, unsure if I should feel flattered or threatened. Hours passed. I clung to her side as she moved through the crowd. Everyone was polished, charming, subtle in their competitiveness. I felt out of place. "You're quiet tonight," she whispered. "I'm just observing," I said, trying to understand. "You don't need to understand," she said softly. "Just be here with me." Her words should have comforted me. But instead, I noticed it the way Ethan looked at her when she laughed at his joke. His gaze lingered, and she didn't look away. I felt something sharp twist inside me. Later, she whispered in my ear, "Did you see him? He's intense, right?" "Yes," I muttered, forcing a casual tone. "But he's just your boss." Her laugh was soft, almost teasing. "You're adorable when you worry." I wanted to argue, wanted to say I wasn't adorable, that I wasn't. Worried, then I realized I was too late. I already was. On the drive home, I stayed quiet. The city lights blurred past the window. "You okay?" she asked, breaking the silence. "Yeah," I said, but it wasn't true. She reached for my hand. "You trust me, right?" I hesitated. "I do. You have to," she said firmly. "Otherwise, this won't work. Not for either of us." I nodded, but my mind was racing. I thought about my life, the apartment, my job, my world that felt suddenly so small. I thought about hers, filled with wealth, influence, people I couldn't compete with. And then I made the decision. I'll follow her world. I'll adapt. I won't leave. Even though a part of me screamed to walk away. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling. Her perfume still lingered. The house was silent, except for the faint hum of the city. I'm not ready for this world, I admitted to myself. But I can't let her go. Not now, not ever. And so, I chose the unknown over my instincts. The glittering sky over solid ground, because I loved her, because I thought love could survive anything. Little did I know, it wouldn't. I hadn't expected her world to be this heavy. Every day, her phone buzzed before I even got out of bed. "You're late again?" I muttered one morning. "I had a meeting," she said, brushing past me like I didn't exist. "Important one." "Ethan wanted me there early." "Ethan again?" I asked, forcing a laugh. "Do you ever talk about me?" She glanced over her shoulder, a little annoyed. "I talk about you all the time. You just don't notice." "I notice," I said quickly, trying to sound calm. I miss you sometimes, that's all." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I miss you too, but this is how it has to be." "You knew this job wasn't small." "I know," I said, though my throat tightened. "I know." Later that week, I met my best friend for coffee. "You look drained," he said, stirring his drink lazily. "What's going on with her?" "She's busy," I said. "It's a billionaire's company. I can't compete." "Compete?" "You're not competing with him. You're competing with yourself. You're letting her take over your life." Don't I snap too quickly. "You don't understand. She's not like that. She loves me." He raised his eyebrows. "You sure about that? Or are you just clinging?" "I'm sure," I said, a little louder than intended. "I trust her. I always have." He leaned back, watching me carefully. "You better hope that trust is enough. She's not the same girl from a year ago." I said nothing. I didn't want to hear it. That Friday, she invited me to another party, this time at a private gallery opening. I walked in, feeling like I'd swallowed my insecurities whole. "You okay?" she asked, slipping her hand into mine. "Yeah, I think so," I muttered. My voice sounded smaller than usual. She led me to a group, laughing and introducing me to people whose names I didn't recognize. Every few minutes her phone buzzed. She'd check it quickly, hide it behind her bag, smile at me, then look away. I asked. "Of course," she said softly. "Just work stuff." I forced a smile. "Work stuff, right?" And then it happened. I was standing near the drinks table when I overheard them. Two men, dressed sharply, talking in low tones. "Did you see the files she sent last night?" One whispered. "She's loyal, but she hides some things." "Ethan doesn't like surprises," the other replied. I froze. My chest tightened. They weren't talking about cheating, but about her loyalty, about tests I wasn't supposed to know existed. I didn't move until she returned, holding my arm lightly. "Ready to leave?" "Yes," I said, my voice stiff. I didn't trust myself to speak without trembling. At home, I couldn't hide it. "What were they talking about?" I asked, holding up her phone she had set aside. "I don't know," she said, calm, slipping the phone into her bag. "Nothing important?" "Nothing important?" I asked sharply. They were whispering. I heard them. I heard your name. "Shh," sighed. "Sitting on the edge of the bed, you're imagining things. I can't help it if your mind races." "My mind isn't racing," shouted. I heard it. "I know something is going on." "Goodness," she said, shaking her head, almost smiling. "You're acting paranoid. You think the world is against you. You think I'm hiding everything from you, but I'm not. You just choose to see it that way." Sank into the chair. Staring at my hands, I just want to understand." "You'll understand eventually," she said softly. "But you have to trust me first. Trust is what keeps us together. Not snooping, not doubting, not making mountains out of molehills." I swallowed hard. Her words hit me like a weight. I am paranoid. I am small. I am nothing in her world. The next few days were worse. She was late for dinner, forgot to call, answered texts with half smiles. I tried to speak up, but she always calmed me, gaslighted me gently, making me feel ridiculous for caring too much. Overthinking, she said one night, "I love you. Isn't that enough?" "It should be," I admitted, voice barely audible. "But I feel like I'm disappearing." She tilted her head, studying me like I was a problem to solve. "Then maybe you need to grow. Not me." I wanted to argue, wanted to scream, wanted to leave and never look back. But I didn't. Instead, I stayed. I swallowed the doubts. I told myself I loved her, that my small world would adjust. I watched. Her laugh with Ethan at another dinner, his hand brushing hers casually, her not pulling away. I felt a sharp pang in my chest, a jealousy I had never felt before. "Are you okay?" she asked, noticing my silence. "Yes," I said, forcing a smile. "I'm fine, really." She leaned in, whispering, "I knew you'd handle this. You're stronger than you think. Stronger than I think." I thought bitterly. I felt weak, tiny, invisible. I remembered my best friend's words, "You're letting her take over your life." And yet I stayed. That night, lying awake, I stared at the ceiling. Every laugh, every glance, every hidden conversation played in my mind. I could leave. I should leave. But a voice inside me whispered, "She's worth it. She's everything." I closed my eyes, pretending to sleep. I chose her world over my instincts. I chose silence over confrontation. I chose to stay. And in that moment, I should have seen it coming. Should have listened to that nagging voice that whispered, "She's not yours anymore." But I didn't. "It's done," she said casually one evening, sliding her bag onto the couch. "Ethan wants me closer too. The board, I start next month in a bigger role." I stared at her, my voice barely audible. "Closer? What do you mean?" "Means I'm more important to him now. Strategically, professionally. Ow! You know how this world works." "I thought we were important," I said, anger cracking my voice. "I thought I mattered." She looked at me like I was confused, maybe even cute. "You do matter, but not in this. Not here." I sank into the chair. "You mean I'm disposable?" She laughed softly, like it was absurd I could think that way. "Don't be dramatic. You're not disposable. You're not the right fit. That's all." I felt like the floor beneath me had opened. "Not the right fit? I love you. I've followed you into this world, and this is what I get."
"How you
"Followed me because you wanted to," she said. Calm, almost cold. "No one made you. And love. Love doesn't always protect you from reality." I shook my head, voice rising. "Reality? This isn't reality. It is betrayal. It's business," she said firmly. "Separate business from feelings. You'll survive." I need to survive too. I couldn't speak. I didn't want to. I wanted to grab her, shake her, scream at her for choosing him over me the next day. I followed her lightly, trying not to seem obvious. I watched her enter Ethan's office. Through the glass, I saw him lean close, whispering, and she nodded. The nod felt like a knife twisting in my chest. Later, I confronted her in the car. "Why him? Why this? Why not us? Why you?" she said sharply. "You couldn't keep up. You couldn't step into this world without breaking down every second. You love me, yes, but you aren't enough. Not here." I tried. I shouted. "I've given you everything." She looked at me with a neutral, almost bored expression. "It wasn't enough. That's life. That's business. That's power. Can't demand more from me than I'm willing to give." I felt my pride shatter. My chest tightened. I wanted to beg, to plead, to make her see she was wrong, but every word I thought of sounded weak. Later that night, someone came to my door. A man in a dark suit, calm but threatening. "Mr. Cole?" he said. "Yes," I said cautiously. "I'm here on behalf of Ethan Blackwood," he said. His tone was neutral, but I could feel the weight in it. "You've seen things you weren't supposed to. You need to stay quiet." "Quiet?" I asked. Or else? "You'll regret it," he said simply. He handed me a card. Cold. Final. I shut the door behind him, heart hammering. I felt trapped, powerless. I called her later, voice trembling. "This isn't right. You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me he would." "I told you," she interrupted. "I'm doing what I have to. If you think I'm wrong, leave. Don't get involved. This isn't for you." I felt tears burning my eyes. "I'm not leaving. I can't just—" "You can," she said, her voice calm, deliberate. "You can walk away right now, but you won't. You love me too much, and that's why you'll suffer quietly while I do what I must." I ended the call, my hands shaking. My life, my love, my pride, all stripped away in a matter of hours. Days passed. In a blur, I stopped sleeping properly, stopped eating properly. I replayed every conversation, every laugh, every touch, wondering when I had started losing her. I thought you loved me," I whispered to myself one night, staring at the ceiling. "I do." A voice in my head echoed hers. Love doesn't win here. I felt my rage building, but strangely it didn't burn the way I expected. There was no fire, no scream inside, me just cold clarity. I realized I had two choices: chase revenge and risk everything, including my safety, or disappear, let the game play out, and survive. I chose survival. I packed lightly. I left a note on the kitchen counter. "I need to find myself. Don't look for me." Her eyes were wet when she found it. "You're running?" she asked, voice breaking slightly. "I'm leaving," I said. "Calm now. For me. Not for you. Not for him. For me." She tried to speak, but I shut the door quietly. No arguments. No chase. No begging. I stayed away. Weeks passed. News filtered. Ethan's company faced scrutiny, investigations, lawsuits. The power she had chased so fiercely began to wobble. I heard she called me frantic, apologetic, begging. I didn't mean for this," she said, voice raw. "I know," I said softly. "But it's too late. I've already seen the truth. Please." "I need you," she begged. "I can't," I said simply. "You made your choice?" "I made mine. Goodbye." Walking away was the hardest thing I ever did. I had nothing, no money, no connections, barely a place to sleep some nights. But I had clarity. I could finally see the game for what it was. Love had become a transaction. Loyalty had been tested and failed. Power had won over affection, but I survived, and that mattered more than anything. I sat one evening on a quiet bench, watching the city lights flicker. I breathed in deeply. I may have lost her, but I didn't lose myself, and for the first time in weeks, I felt free. I didn't know how long I'd been away, and I didn't care. "You look different," my neighbor said one morning as I picked up my mail. "Different good or different bad?" I asked, smirking despite myself. "Different like. Stronger," he said. I laughed softly. "I'll take that." I worked quietly, trained my mind, my body, my patience. Skills I'd ignored for years. Cooking, budgeting. Even coding became my armor. "You're hiding something," my friend said over lunch one day. "Maybe," I replied. "Or maybe I'm just learning how to live without breaking." "Changed," he said, shaking his head. "I had to," I said simply. Then the news hit me like lightning. Ethan Blackwood, my ex, her boss, was under investigation, assets frozen, employees questioned, lawsuits piling up, I heard. My friend said, "You okay?" "I'm more than okay," I said. "I'm ready." "Ready for what?" "Nothing. Just watching," I said, letting the words hang. A week later, my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number, but I answered. "Hello?" "Me," she said, voice trembling. "Please, I need to talk." I closed my eyes, remembering every lie, every cold word, every betrayal. "You're afraid," I said softly. "Yes," she admitted. "Everything's falling apart. I don't know what to do." "You had your choices," I said calmly. "I had mine." "No. I was wrong," she said. "I didn't mean for any of this." You didn't mean?" I asked, voice sharper now. You chose him. You chose power, I warned. I stayed anyway. Her silence spoke louder than any words. I'm not angry, I said finally. Not anymore. Not angry. She repeated, disbelief cracking her voice. No, I'm free, I said. Free from waiting for someone who couldn't love me without conditions. She called again later that night. Please, I need your help. I'm scared. You're scared? I asked. You chose this life. You knew the cost. I didn't think it would end like this, she cried. End like this? I asked. You lost me your reputation and now him. It's what you get when you treat people as chess pieces. Stop. I interrupted. I won't fix this. I won't be your safety net. Not anymore. You have to live with your choices. I can't, she whispered, voice breaking. I know, I said, and that's the difference between us. I survive. You learn the hard way. Days later, I watched the news silently. The billionaire's empire crumbling, employees panicking, lawsuits stacking. Everything she had chased, the power, the influence, the security, was slipping. Slowly, naturally. I didn't celebrate. I just observed. Are you happy? My friend asked, noticing my calm. I'm peaceful, I said. There's a difference. I didn't win, but I survived. That's more than enough. You always were smart, he said. Or stubborn, I replied. She reached out one last time. Texts, calls, emails. Desperate, afraid, regretful. I never wanted it to end like this, she typed. I read the messages quietly, letting them sink. Then I posted my story online at a calm/truthful account. Not angry, not bitter. Just me. My words, my experience. I can't believe you'd do that, she said when she saw it. It's not revenge, I said. It's truth. Truth speaks, louder than any act of hatred. I was wrong, she typed again. I should have loved you. Love isn't about should, I replied. It's about action, choices, and respect. You lacked them all when it mattered. She didn't respond after that. I didn't expect her to. Weeks later, I walked through the city, the cool wind brushing my face. She stood across the street, looking smaller, weaker than I remembered. Her eyes searched, hoping I'd look back. I didn't. I couldn't. I survived, I whispered to myself. I survived without her, without him, without needing anyone to validate me. And for the first time, it felt real. I stopped at a quiet cafe, ordered my coffee, and smiled at the barista. Morning, I said, morning. She replied, cheerful. I watched the city waking up around me. People rushing, living, making choices, loving, losing. And I felt nothing heavy in my chest. No anger, no regret, just quiet. Just peace. I didn't follow her anymore. I followed myself. I sat back, letting the sunlight warm my face. Life was still messy. Life was still unpredictable. But I had my freedom, my clarity, my strength. I survived, I whispered again, and that was enough.